really want to share with you a big secret today, and it's not one that a lot of you are going to want to hear. But at the same time, it's so important that I have to tell you. That secret is this. What if I told you that every single day kids go to school, they become less intelligent? Now, how could that be possible? When kids go to school, they learn things, right? They accumulate more knowledge, right? So if anything, they should be getting smarter. How could they possibly be getting less intelligent? What am I talking about? Well, I do hope to illustrate that to you today. Before I turned 14, I was a kid that didn't know what he wanted in life. So usually, when I go up to a 5 or 6-year-old and you ask him, what do you want to be when you grow up? He'll say, an astronaut or businessman. I wanted to be a professional Call of Duty player. And since I had no idea about what I wanted to be when I grew up, I just listened to my parents almost 100% of all the time. I just did that. They knew what was best for me. My parents wanted out of me what any typical parent wants out of his child. Go to school, keep up their grades, get out and exercise once every few years. And I was trying to do everything they asked of me. Except the problem was I wasn't even that good at school. I was terrible at science. I couldn't write a 5-paragraph essay in my life. And this day, I still think I'm the only Asian kid in the world who do not understand math. I really do. But when I turned 14, that all changed. I was no longer this hot air balloon and floating around in space. I was now like a supersonic jet flying towards my destination. And at 50,000 miles an hour are no longer fast those things go. And the change all that started when I received an envelope with the email. It was an invitation, not to a birthday party. I didn't get any of those. Not to a playground, but to a business plan competition down in Boston. And I was curious. I was just so curious that I had to go. The program director explained to us that over 5 months, we would form a team, develop a business idea, and present this idea to a panel of judges. We would be judging us how good their suits are and how good the business ideas were. And a long story short, over those 5 months, I formed a team, developed an idea, and we actually ended up winning that competition and taking home a check. And that one event sparked my interest for going to more and more of these competitions. And over the next 2 years of my life, I actually went to a dozen and dozens of these competitions. And I was winning almost all of them. And I realized that I like going to them so much, not because I like winning them, but also because I had an unrealized passion. That was a passion for creating things. Because the one thing that my team would do differently from other competitors every single time was that while everyone would go up and present the idea and their PowerPoint, we go Home Depot, buy supplies, and actually build the idea we were talking about. And the judges were just so blown away by the fact that a bunch of teenagers could go and create things, can make prototypes, and make them viable products. We won almost every single competition just because the judges loved that we had gone and executed it. At one of these competitions, I met a short-tempered, middle-aged Polish guy named Frank. And if he's here today, I better run after this. And he came up to us, took a look at our prototype, and said, I can help you guys turn this into a real company. Think about that. Isn't that cool? We are 16 years old. We are going out into the world and creating a real hardware technology startup. At first, we're all like, time to be Steve Jobs. Let's go to build Apple, dropping out of school now, but we quickly realized that it's not that easy. So don't drop out of unless you are really sure you have a good idea. But we've realized that the first part to building a great company is to assemble a great team. And as students, we couldn't go to bars to network events for adults, so we went to our school and set up a little presentation in our auditorium. in which we could present our idea and hopefully kids would join our team. We sent out an invitation to our entire school, and the first thing we noticed that almost no one showed up. There was almost no interest, and those who didn't show up spread the rumor around the school. And throughout that week, we actually marched. We were made fun of our ideas and for being want to be Mark Zuckerbergs. What is funny is the next week after, we took the exact same presentation and did at elementary school, so kids who are 5 or 6 years younger, and the response was phenomenal. These kids were throwing their lunch money at us, asking if they could buy a prototype. They were asking for our pre-money valuation, which I know you guys know from watching Shark Tank, but it was amazing that these kids even know terms like that exist when they were too young to even properly pronounce some of these words. That just inspired me so much, and I think this is what our education system has done. Over just of these 5 to 6 years in the education system, these creative children are turned into these teenagers, and they are unwilling to think outside the box. So let's go back to the words I was talking about. How it is possible that school is making kids less intelligent? The fact is, there is so much more than just one type of intelligence. While school can make you more academically intelligent, it can teach you physics, algebra, calculus. It is diminishing the children's creative intelligence. It is teaching them to think in a certain way, to down a certain path in life. It's telling them, go to high school, get a diploma, go to the college, find a stable job. And if you don't do that, you won't be successful. And if that was true, how am I even standing here today? How did I, a straight A student, start a startup technology at the company at the age of 16? And how is my company, which was featured on the Wall Street Journal last week, doing better than some of the companies started by Harvard and Stanford graduates? It must be something that can be measured by academic intelligence alone. So here's what I believe. Parents, teachers, educators, you have the power to influence and inspire youth. The fact is, there are way too many people out there right now who are obsessed with telling kids to go to college, to find a good job, to be successful. There are not enough who are telling kids to explore more possibilities to become entrepreneurs. And if there is one message that I want parents, kids, and all of you to take away from that I've said here today, is that you can open your own doors, that you can stray away from this conventional, limited, and narrow path that education sets upon. You can diverge and create your own future. You can start your own company and start your own non-profits. You can create, you can innovate. And if there is one message that I want you to take away from everything I've said, it is this: no one has ever changed the world by doing that the world has told them to do. Thank you.